Roger Roots, attorney.
I'm going to be very quick, maybe 5 minutes. I want to say that I followed this case very closely, and I followed this trial last week. And I want to say that as a lawyer, what I saw here in this building behind me was probably the low point that I've ever seen of criminal justice. In fact, I think it was the lowest point in American criminal justice history. And I saw it with my own eyes. I just shook my head. I was embarrassed to be an American last week, and of course I'm always embarrassed to be an attorney. You know, freedom is something that creates its own prosperity. Wherever there is freedom, there is wealth, there is abundance, there is happiness, there is long lives. Wherever there is government, wherever government controls every aspect of human life, there is poverty, misery, torture, violence, killings, genocides, homicides of all kinds. Some of you might have heard of the 4 Asian tigers. There are 4 countries in Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, South Korea, and what's the other one? Singapore. 4 Asian tigers. They were third world countries just 2 generations ago. My father was a Korean era veteran. He served in the Korean War stateside. At the time that America was involved in the Korean conflict in the 1950s, Korea was a third world country. It had no running water, it had no electricity. If you lived in Korea, you had a life expectancy of between 40 and about 50 years old. Today, after 2 generations of freedom and capitalism, Korea has a longer average life expectancy than we do here in the United States because of freedom and because of capitalism. Korea has huge buildings, manufacturing facilities that are the highest quality in the world. Hong Kong has the world's highest life expectancy. Singapore was a third world country just 2 generations ago. If you lived in Singapore 2 generations ago, you had a life expectancy of between 40 and 50 years old. Today, it's in the top 5 life expectancy. Singapore is a capitalist society. It's not perfect, but it has no welfare. It has no social security of any kind. Almost all charity is done by the private sector in Singapore. And guess what that has done to Singapore? They have the world's highest savings rates, highest investment rates. The average net worth of a person in Singapore is higher today than the average net worth of someone in Canada or Denmark. That's what freedom does. You know what government does? Government control of an economy, government control of a society, with all its prisons, all the shackles, the cages and the chains, the torture and the violence, all the yelling at the American people, yelling at people all over the world. Wherever there is government central planning, there is poverty, misery, duress, violence, ill health. Wherever government takes over hospitals or clinics or health care, the quality goes down, the prices go up. Wherever government takes over education, the outcomes get worse, the prices go up. Wherever government takes over retirement planning or any other thing, every other thing gets worse. The only thing that makes things better in the world, folks, is freedom. And I'm telling you right now that the U.S. Department of Justice in this case is on the wrong side of history, because eventually we are going to defeat them. And we are going to be free, and all of these tyrants in here who are trying to keep people from defending themselves lawfully, someday they're going to come to us begging for mercy. They're going to beg for forgiveness and say, well, we never were tyrants. They're going to deny that they were tyrants.
So you're listening to Roger Roots.
We need to be ready to, frankly, embrace them, because the ultimate best case scenario is to get our enemies and to turn them around to the right side of thinking, folks. Because in the end, what we all want is freedom. And with that, I want to turn this over to Sergeant Moe. And she herself fought in the U.S. military. Did you fight, or were you just in it? She was a combat veteran I'm about to hand this megaphone over to. All right? And she's become a freedom activist of the very highest caliber. And with that, I'd like to introduce Sergeant Moe. Her name is Maureen Peltier, and she's going to talk about what happened at Camp Liberty just a couple days ago.
Hey, Roger.
Got me here? All right. Again, the moniker is Staff Sergeant Mo online. I do a lot of vlogging, videos, live streaming. I write pieces and commentary on occasion, things like that, to follow up, make sure the facts, provide documentation. I share and reshare the heck out of everything. I'm a supporter of the P3, that's the Patriot Political Prisoners. Yes, I did serve in combat in Iraq. Bayab International Airport was one headquarters. Our unit did over 1 million miles outside the wire. We did engage. My last deployment was a little bit quieter in administrative roles for logistics. Still, we had inside wire attacks. Nonetheless, I've come home alive to my children, but I've come home to a nation in distress. Who here believes that we have been overregulated? Who here understands all of the codes and regulations that you are to adhere and comply to? No one. Who here understands, if the attorneys even understand, the law of that they claim to be the law of the land now? Who here understands if even these courts are exercising justice under principle with integrity? I have not seen that since I have been observing these courts. I have not seen that. I have not seen what I would have expected as an American soldier who went to serve for you, the people. I have not at all seen one iota of what I understand justice to be, or freedom to be, or prosperity to be for the people of America, or the Constitution that I swore an oath to. And as I came to truly understand that oath, that Constitution, and that it wasn't to be just read by me and my own and a symbolic gesture with my right hand raised to it, but to be enforced and elevated for you. But I have not seen the other men and women in uniform doing the same for you. I have not seen this justice system do the same for you. And as a result, what I have experienced is tyranny. That goes right back to Camp Liberty right now. Most recent experience. We're there, we're improving a private property owned with permission to be there so that you guys that came into town to observe these court proceedings, this trial and the trials that we still have yet to face, could be there safely, could be with a community of people that you're comfortable with so you can sleep for free to save you some money. That's it. I had no other agenda, no other plan. It was a continuation of something BJ Soper had started, and that people got together and did an amazing thing when they first started the first Camp Liberty in Pahrump. An amazing thing where they communed together, stayed together in safety, and they also provided an adequate, principled, integrity protest against the abuses going on in the prison. Specifically, as we uncovered through research to the community, prisons systemically throughout our nation that are abusing. Every person has the ability to be abused. That's how corrupt the system is. Any engagement, a casual engagement with a guard or any type of law enforcement can turn fatal. A casual encounter can very well turn fatal. So when Metro came to that house, not only did I stand my ground firmly and ask the questions necessary to understand better what it is they were there for, but also exercise my rights. And they were digressing with me in the communications and violating my rights, keeping me from my phone, the safety of having you all out here witnessing, keeping me from going live, keeping me from making any phone calls, violating my rights. I realized something immediately at that moment. How real everything I have been teaching about what I have learned while watching others endure it. How absolutely real it is and how scary to have Metro roll up in there. And how at any second, just for asking questions, that it can go so badly. Hit the recheck button. That it can go so badly for anybody with me, and that I had to comply under duress. comply under duress so that I wasn't assaulted any further than I was with my rights. But that is the life we live in America today. We are truly overregulated, overrun. Our prosperity is affected. The freedom to come together, peacefully assemble, lodging together safely while improving the grounds with permission to be there is impacted negatively by the government as soon as they can see fit at their convenience. When they knew that this crowd was coming, when we did that call out with, and BJ did that call out and followed up, that it was right after that they came to that house, and I had been there for what, a month? Almost a month. And it was at that moment that they rolled up to undo every good work that we had done. But it is not over. And I'll update everybody in the community as we go in the future. There's other opportunities as well, as that location is not over. We will make sure, under duress, to comply with these unconstitutional codes and regulations, and fines and fees, to make sure that everybody that comes to this town for the trials has a safe location to be. That's all I had to say about Camp Liberty. I'd like to introduce now BJ or John. Deb Jordan, please. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Let me say a few words about Deb Jordan. She is a principal, let's just call her an activist, involved in just trying to support and work with the defendants in the Bundy case down here. Her second in command, is it your second in command or your first in command? She's very well connected with Pete Santilli. And she's with Guerrilla Media and the Pete Santilli productions of all kinds, television and radio, I believe. And with that, here she is, Deb Jordan, everybody.
Okay, you guys, I should know how to do this through a bullhorn. Okay. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about revolution and how revolution gets started. In particular, the revolution that was started that eventually created the United States of America. And let me get my dates right here. In 1733, Peter Paul Singer began a printing press called the New York Weekly Journal. And the journal voiced opinions critical of the colonial governor, William Cosby. On November the 17th, 1734, on Cosby's orders,
I don't know how much my battery's going to hold out, so there's several live streams.
Him, the Attorney General, Richard Bradley, charged him with libel in August. Singer is known as the father of freedom of the press. And this is why it started the Revolutionary War and why we escalated to that. Singer was eventually found not guilty by a jury of his peers. The British rulers did everything that they could to keep him from going free. They had imprisoned him. He could not leave his prison cell. Much about the same thing that's happening to our guys right now under British rule. But eventually he was found not guilty. What happened after that is exactly what's happening here today. The British decided that they were going to ban they decided that they were going to ban having juries of our peers. They decided they were going to ban that. Okay? Because what happened after Zinger was found not guilty was he went on to criticize the British in the newspaper. And so did all of the other press. And they looked really, really bad. Because the press was calling for a revolution. And they were outing them. And they didn't like it. So much what they're doing here in this court, by using the jury, by telling the jury as little as possible, they make it very, very difficult for these guys to get a fair trial. Very difficult, indeed. I want to tell you guys that Pete Santilli is a journalist. They found in Oregon, when he was arrested, that indeed he was a journalist. As much as they fought against that, they did not prevail. They did not. We have the ACLU, sorry. We have the ACLU back us. They agreed with us, and they helped us. Here in the state of Nevada, we have not had any comfort like that. Nobody is willing to step up to the plate and help us prove that he is not guilty. So we have to do it ourselves. He has a message for everyone. He wants everyone to know that he's doing okay. His favorite thing to say to me now is that God is not going to save us. He's going to rescue us. He will not save us.
I can't stand here anymore.
We have some work to do. And we have a lot of work
Patty.
to do. So, everybody that's here, live streaming
My
today,
feet are killing me.
you are
I
doing
don't know
the
how
job
long
of
I
the
can
press.
stand here.
You are the modern day revolutionaries. You are the modern day Zinger.
Amen.
I want to tell you guys that I didn't know hardly any of the people that are here today until I went to Burns, Oregon. And I certainly didn't know the men that are on trial. The one person that I did know is Eric Parker. He stood outside my hotel room for 30 days and he protected me. So, I will be forever grateful for the sacrifice that he's made. I don't know what stirs a person's heart to do something like that, but that young man would have taken a bullet for me. So, a little bit that I've had to endure since is nothing compared to what he's done for me. I've gotten very close to his beautiful wife. She suffers. It's not easy.
My
It's
feet
not.
hurt so bad.
And we aren't anywhere near the end of all of this. So I would like to ask you all, please don't give up. Zinger didn't give up. Our founding fathers didn't give up. Pushing out the message. Pushing it out there. Become the modern day press. When they don't tell the truth, you need to. But you need to be responsible and you need to get it right. You don't have to embellish a situation that's already dramatic enough. Okay? Be kind to one another. Be kind to these families. And do what you need to do. We do need to be revolutionaries. We do. But we need to do it sensibly. Times have changed since our founding fathers went through what we're going through now. Times have changed. You need to take care of yourself. We don't need any more people in jail. We don't. We need to be sensible. And we need to be spotting. We need to be smarter than they are. There's nothing they would like better than to see every single one of us rotting in a
Trying to
prison
get
cell.
in here.
Okay?
I've been in here for a while, but
I don't know what to say to comfort you guys. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you to do. Far be it from me to tell any of you what to do. But I do know one thing. At the end of all of this, we will prevail. It may not be next week, and it may not be 5 years from now. But there's such a burning desire in the souls of men to be free that they never give up. They never stop. They never stop. And that's called winning. And we're going to win this thing. We just have to be patient. We have to love one another through it. And it's all going to be okay. And that's what Pete tells me every single day. He tells me that. So with that, you guys, I really appreciate you all coming here today, being here for Andrea, being here for the other people. BJ, thank you so much. I got to know BJ in Oregon too. So, you guys are all really good people, I know that. I know that you are. But when you take on the responsibility of being the press, make sure that you're the best that you can be, okay? Be the best that you can be. America is watching, and revolutions get started this way, okay? Don't give up.
Amen.
All right, I think maybe do these megaphones start getting quieter over time? In any case, maybe we've got a second reserve megaphone somewhere, which we'll dig out. In the meantime, we're going to call our next lecturer, who actually was going to be our keynote lecturer, but she wanted to go a little bit early. I guess she's also serving as a cab driver for a number of patriots down here. Andrea Parker, let me just say, I've gotten to know her. We've actually, gone hiking a few times. She's from Idaho, and she is, listen, a guy facing life in prison couldn't ask for a better wife, let me tell you that.
Where's Andrea's phone? Oh, I was wondering where her phone is.
I don't know.
First, I would like to thank Roger for having us all speak again. This is my second symposium that I've spoke at, so if you see another, I suggest you all go because they've always been very fun and informational. So I want to start out today by thanking everyone for coming. It's truly been amazing. And something I have to say, can I see a raise of hands? How many people know and talk to your neighbors on a regular basis?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, and how many people here don't know a single one of their neighbors? We got maybe a few of those, so that's really good for this crowd. How many of you here knew Eric Parker, Stephen Stewart, Scott Drexler, or Ricky Loveland before they were arrested? Do you see that? I want to bring up that we've got maybe a few hands in the crowd, and every single one of you have done exactly what Eric did when he went to the Bundy Ranch. You have all stood up for your neighbors that you didn't even know. And I think we've got to take that and we've got to keep pushing it. We've got to take it to the next level. We really have to band together. And even if we don't agree on something, I need to fight for you, even if I don't agree with it, because it's your right to believe or need that. And if we are always, the establishment wants us fighting each other. And they want that because it prevents what's going on here today.
Yeah, not today they don't.
Today they're not preventing it, but I'm saying, and it happens in your communities. One neighbor wants this, another neighbor wants this, and we can't come to an agreement. And then feuds start, and they can last forever. So, I want to talk about the importance of standing up for your neighbors, standing up for people you don't know. Because I can tell you on Thursday in the courtroom, it was a completely different scene. And I expected when I came inside today to have what happened That was not even close to what I thought was going to happen. I thought Scott Drexler was going to be made to proffer his testimony without the jury in the room. And I truly believe that each and every one of you being here is the reason that he was not forced to do that. And the reason that he was allowed to get as much as he was allowed to get out. And the fact that he wasn't pulled off of the stand for even saying twice that he got down because he thought they were going to kill him.
Not once,
and
but twice.
I thank you all for that. This is a huge step. So everyone always says, you know, Eric, he went to stand for neighbors that he didn't even know. Well, all of you have stood for neighbors that you didn't even know. And you need to share the story. You can even take the names out, you know, because sometimes the name Bundy kind of sets people off immediately. So maybe omit that fact until you get way through the story. But we need to not only show up and stand for our neighbors, but we need to talk to people in such a way that we are not forcing our opinion upon them, but we are having a conversation, a two-sided conversation. Not only are we speaking to be heard, but we are listening to hear. Because, you know, you are going to learn so much more if you have a rational conversation, even with a snowflake. and they may be able to take and see how you're treating them and be able to listen and treat you in the same way. And we have to be the difference. We have to start, it starts with us.
We have to be above the anger and hate.
We have to be the one that shows the good example. I know all of our mothers always said that you have to be the good example for others. And all of you here today are the good example. You're starting, and you're all going to go back to places far, far from here. And you can be that good example in your neighborhood. And it starts with you. And pushing the love and pushing the positivity versus focusing on the negative and focusing on the bad things, you will see a change. If we all focus on the good things, then we will be happy. And we will go around and we will see more good things. If we focus on the bad, we are going to be angry and hate-filled, and bad things will continue to happen to us. So I want to leave you all with this, that I think that everyone here is as much of a hero as Eric Parker, Stephen Stewart, Scott Drexler, and Ricky Lovell.
All right. Hey, our next speaker is a guy that came down here at the spur of a moment, just in the last 24 hours, all the way from, I believe, the state of Oregon. Some of you may know that last week events in trial here were really degenerating, and a number of people gathered around and they sort of made a call out, hey, if you want to try to save your country, get down here, because this is a very important case. And let me just tell you, so there are some very scary things that have gone on inside this building behind me. B.J. Soper came down at the spur of a moment, and he started organizing an idea to have a tea party event here on the steps. And when I first heard about it, it was a plan to throw boxes of tea or maybe even pour tea on the steps of the courthouse. And knowing how extreme the security here is, frankly, I scratched my head a little bit, and I thought, wow, is that really such a great idea? And it wasn't actually that I thought civil disobedience was not a good idea. It always is. But I was afraid of losing numbers to some mass arrests, because I thought maybe he was leading some people into some arrests.
We're all still here!
He pulled it off, and it was done. Let's get some video of those great tea bags back there.
Nice
He
job.
pulled it off. No one was arrested, as far as I know. And he did a great job with this and brought some people down here.
The day's not over.
B.J. Soper.
Boston Tea Party CEO.
You know, the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is duty. Duty transcends a job. Duty transcends a living. And the mic? Is that better?
Yeah.
Duty transcends making a living. Duty transcends just about everything that you make a promise to uphold. When I first saw what happened in Bundy Ranch, it really shook me to the core. It shook me to the core is what was going on. And from that day forward, I learned and I listened and I reached out to other people to understand what was going on. And I did exactly what Andrea was talking about. I started talking to my neighbors. I started working with my neighbors. And we started finding that we had common ideas and we had common aspirations and common concerns for the direction that our country was heading. And groups form that way. Ideologies form that way. And revolution forms that way. Revolution forms with an idea. It's a single solitary idea, and it transcends itself into a lifestyle. And then by the time it's all said and done, it's a new way of life. So back to our duty. When we as Americans read the Constitution and we look at that flag, and we understand how many lives and how much blood has been spilled to give us the lives that we stand here free to live. Whether we have on a uniform or whether we have on whatever the case may be, we are accepting a duty to defend what it took to give us the life that we live. So I find it a duty to stand here. I find it's my job to come here and stand in defense and try to make aware what's taking place in this building. Because how many people here have explained to, have taken the chance to explain to another person what was taking place? And what was their response? What's their response? Well, that doesn't sound right. That can't be. They can't do that. Well, guess what? They are. They're doing it on a daily basis to our 4 friends and family in that building.
Did you see that today, BJ?
You know, I did not go in because I stayed out here
Tea
today.
Party. Boston Tea
I
Party,
heard
my
all
bad.
of you testify to me, and I believe every single one of you, because every one of your stories is exactly the same. So I believe what you're saying is true.
Roger that. Thank you.
So when we take on a duty to defend what we believe is right, we have to see it through to the end. And the Founding Fathers, at the end of the Declaration, when they signed the Declaration of Independence, the very last line is that they pledged their life, they pledged their fortune, and they pledged their sacred honor. And 57 of those men, many of them died in poverty, many of them were killed in battle, many of them died running from the very king that they pledged the independence from. And I don't know that one of them lived to see the fruition of the country that they fought to create. It's our duty to give our life. It's our duty to donate our fortune, and it's our duty to give our sacred honor to keep this fight alive, to inform the other people that just don't understand what's going on right now. When we really understand where the power lies and where it's always lied, the power is always lied at the very beginning, and it's always lied within us. And there's so much power in us when we unite. When we stand together, when we stand united with a united front, with a united message, we're strong. And today we prove that. Today we prove that in that courtroom. Your guys' testimony is telling me that a judge acted completely different than she has for the last 5 or 6 weeks. And that's because we stood together. We came together and we said, we are not going to let this go without notice. We're not going to let this go unheard. That power will always be in us. And we just have to find the strength and the courage to come together and stand united in the fights that are important to us. And, you know, not every fight is going to be the fight that everybody joins in on. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Because there's many fights and there's many soldiers needed for all these fights. When we find, I'm working on a project right now in Oregon. Oregon's a great place to live, but it's ruled by people that rule my life in Eastern Oregon just don't understand it. I'm working on a project called Oregon Direct. It's very, very similar to the state of Jefferson. Basically what we're talking about is the power lies in the people, and when we decide that we don't want to live and abide by the rules established by people that don't understand, we have the right to change our life and change our direction. So it's a new movement that we're working on. It's a long way from fruition, but it's gaining traction. All the people throughout rural Oregon really are latching on to the idea. And it's a simple premise. It's a very simple premise that the power lies with the people, and we have the ability to dictate the directions our life wants to go. We have to have the courage to do it. So the message I want to leave with you guys today here is really simple. The passion that we all have is the passion that we can share, like Andrea said, to other people. Because as you guys all saw, there's very little coverage. The media doesn't care. As important as this is, as important as this issue is, like Roger said, we've never seen anything like this in the history of the judicial process of this country, and we have no coverage. So it is our duty. I want everybody here to accept the duty to spread this message, to teach somebody every day of what's taking place here. Take the time to talk, take the time to listen, and take the time to educate others so that at the next rally and the rallies that come and the rallies that come and the issues that come, we can stand united in a front of thousands instead of a front of tens. It's our duty to spread this message. It's our duty to educate, because at this point, our media has lost its focus. And like Deb said, we are the new media. We have it in our hands. Every one of you guys that's live feeding has the ability to educate and put out the message. So that's my message for you guys. Educate, teach everybody what's going on, and stand united. Because we can win this battle. It's not quick, it's not easy. We will get through it, but it's one step at a time, and we'll make progress. So thank you. Honestly, one last thing. I cannot believe how many people actually made it here in 72 hours. 72 hours was the call. I don't even know if it was 72 hours. It may be well under that. I want everybody here to thank themselves and be proud of the effort that we all gave to get here. We filled that courtroom. We filled that courtroom. We made a difference.
All day.
All day long. And then we made a difference out here as well, too.
Yeah, we had to rotate people in.
Exactly. And just so everybody knows, we did have continuing simultaneous rallies in Indianapolis, in St. Louis, and a handful of other federal courthouses around the country. So the message is growing, and that's because of us. That's because of everything that we're doing. The thing that technology is a great thing, and if we use it right, we're going to win this battle. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, BJ!
Alright, guys, I'm out.
All right, this next speaker came all the way from North Idaho. She runs the Readout News, which is a growing newspaper
Sherry's
with
coming
all
up.
kinds of liberty-oriented content, most of which is directed to news stories around Idaho, Washington, Montana, Wyoming, etc. A little bit of Oregon. And recently she's come down here and started covering this trial down here. And she also covers a little bit for InfoWars occasionally. This is Sherry Duvall, Readout News.
Sherry!
A lot of moving parts there.
Yay, North Idaho. I promised I'd keep this to 5 minutes or less. Maybe I can do 3. Closer? Okay, how's this? I'm here to talk to you about technology. Does anybody remember Edward R. Murrow? How about Walter Cronkite?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just a couple of generations ago, they were the voice for America. They were the trusted voice for America. They were the mainstream media, and they had, you know, that's when we had television with 3 channels and a couple of really good newspapers. Well, we don't have that anymore. Okay, we have better things actually, but we don't have better media. The mainstream media is no longer your friend. They do not cover what they are not told to cover. It is up to us. Am I blocking you?
Okay, I'll move for you, Sherry.
It is up to us to do what we can do. We are the new media. You need to use the technology that we have. Everybody have a phone? Okay, it doesn't even have to be a smartphone. It just, you know, it's nice to have a camera on it. Okay, you see something important?
picture, take a video. If you can't do that, write it up, make a blog. It is up to us to get the word out. We can share it. Everybody here can do that. You see something important, you see a constitutional violation, write it up. Send it in. There's a lot of people. Now, don't let the mainstream media fool you. If you go into their URLs and I'm not a techie. I have seen this, okay? Their websites are listed as blogs. So even they are bloggers. Bloggers are newsmakers, news media. Okay, you can do this. This is important. And don't let them tell you you're not media. Don't let them tell you you need press credentials. I can help you get them if that's what you want. But places like this federal courthouse will not accept anything less than what they issue. As I proved today when I walked in there with my press credentials and they turned me away as press. But the word's still getting out. It's not going to stop. We're still telling the truth. We're still telling the story of these guys. We're not going to stop. And it's up to everybody here and everybody on all of these live streams to help us out. It takes, I don't want to go with it takes the village stuff, but it takes the citizens to do this.
Woo! Thank you.
All right, man.
All right, thank you. We're having a goal of really wrapping it up in one or two.
Yeah, we got battery
One
power
or two.
pumps.
We got battery power on some of our devices for one or two more. Brand, go under 2 minutes.
I'll try.
Under 2
I'm
minutes,
done.
Brand Thornton.